Namaskaram everybody. So today we are going to have a very interesting discussion about Yama. Has everybody heard about Yama? Yama is the god of death, right? Okay, so we are going to talk about the god of death and the knowledge which the god of death is passing on. So there was this famous rishi. Okay, his name was Vajasravas, and the rishi was doing a yajna whereby he is sacrificing his property, wealth and all that to poor people. So he is sacrificing, he is giving, donating all these old cows and lame cows, cows doesn't have any milk, all of that to poor people. Then his son is very young and he is just looking at all of this and thinking, why is my father doing this? My father is donating all these lame cows to poor people. What is the use? So he goes and asks his father, Father, why are you doing this? It is useless. Okay, you should be donating your most prized possession, not the things which you don't even want to keep. Okay, so the rishi goes like, okay, my prized possession is my son. So the rishi goes like, okay, I give you away to death. Some people say that the rishi got angry and cursed the son, but that is probably not the case. Rishi is never getting angry. Okay, probably the rishi wanted the son to realize something. So rishi goes and tells the son that I give you away to death. And a rishi is so powerful with his spiritual knowledge and his, after so much of years of yoga practices, he has got so much of power. So the moment the rishi says this, what happens? Nachiketas or the son goes like straight to death. Son is sent straight to the house of Yamadeva, or the god of death. And Nachiketas reaches the house of death. Yama is busy, he has gone out, he is not there. So the poor boy has to wait outside. The boy has to wait outside for 3 days. No food, no water. Waiting for 3 days. Poor fellow. And then Yama comes. And now Yama comes, sees this boy. And now Yama is feeling so bad. Right? You know, this young boy who looks very divine and who is the son of the famous rishi has come to see him. And he is not there to receive him. Forget receiving. He has not given him any food or water for the last 3 days. Absolutely. So many people, right? So he was extremely busy with Corona. Okay. Vignesh has to come up with something. So so what happens is that Yama says, okay, since you have waited for 3 days, I will give you 3 boons. Right. So Nachiketas thinks about it and says, okay, first boon, when I go back to earth, let my father recognize me. Because once you have realized death, you are a different person. Right? Let my father recognize me let my father have peace, all of that. Okay, fine. That is the first boon. Now the second boon, teach me the fire sacrifice. So fire sacrifice is a very famous sacrifice. Teach me the fire sacrifice. We will discuss that later. But the third boon is the most important thing. Third boon goes like, tell me what happens after death. Right? Tell me what happens to us after death. This is the question. Then Yama goes like, okay, that is a secret. I cannot tell you this. Right? So many people have asked me this question. I haven't told anybody the secret. I will not tell you this. You ask me for anything. You ask me for Ferrari. You ask me for Lamborghini. You ask me for dancing girls. You ask me for any type of wealth. Everything I'll give you. Right? Just imagine, normal kids, if they get a Ferrari, they will say, thank you. Okay, I like the Ferrari, I'll go. So Nachiketas goes like, I'm not at all interested in all of that. I'm not at all interested in Ferrari or Lamborghini or Bugatti. I'm not interested in the dancing girls. If this secret is the most important thing, I want to know that. Nothing else. Okay. Then Yama is put in a corner. He has to explain. Then the explanation starts. This is the core of Kathopanishad. Kathopanishad is one of the most important Upanishads in our culture. So the explanation of what happens after death given by Yamadeva, the god of death, to Nachiketas is explained in Kathopanishad. Right? So Yama explains to Nachiketas that you have got a soul inside you, and this soul is a rider of a chariot, and the chariot has the horses, and the horses are your senses. Right? So normally what happens is that these senses, horses, are going here and there, enjoying all the material things in the world. And yourself or the soul is distracted with all the material things around you. Right? So you have 5 senses. 5 senses are enjoying all the material things in the world. Now what happens when the 5 senses die, or when your body dies? When your body dies, there is no 5 senses. But the rider is still there. The soul is still there. The Atman is still there. Okay. The realizing of that Atman, which doesn't die, is the secret. Okay. And to understand that secret, Yama tells Nachiketas this very, very secret thing, extremely secret thing. To realize the Atman or the soul. What is the secret thing? And the secret thing is the mantra Om. The secret thing is the mantra Om. Right? Understanding this mantra, chanting this mantra, you are able to realize the soul within yourself, and to realize that that soul is part of a bigger consciousness, or the Brahman. So the Om is the bridge between this small soul or small consciousness and the universal divine consciousness. So Om is the bridge between here and there. Once you realize that your soul is part of a universal consciousness, divine consciousness or super consciousness, then you are immortal. You understand that soul doesn't die. Soul becomes one with the divine consciousness. You are immortal. Right? So this is the story of Nachiketas. It is a very famous story. Okay, so if you look at the word Nachiketas, what does the word itself mean? Nachiketas. Na is what? Na. Yeah, na is what? No. Yeah. Chi is what? Chi, in Chinese also you have chi, right? So chi is energy, right? Spiritual energy is called chi. Okay, unending spiritual energy, that's called chi. Ketas is something which is going round and round and round and round and round. Right? So Nachiketas means someone who has realized that you don't go round and round and round and round in the cycle of life and death, life and death, life and death, life and death. Or you can say you don't go around in the cycle of what is happening around you. Someone who has realized that all of this which we are experiencing is good, but the true happiness is something which is inside. If you are drawn to your desires by your senses, if you are looking at things outside for your happiness, it is not going to give you any happiness eventually. You have to start looking inside of ourselves to find the true happiness, to find your soul or that amsha of Brahman within you, to realize that Aham Brahmasmi. Right? Someone who has that deep desire to realize that divinity within ourselves is Nachiketas. Nachiketas is someone who wants to realize that knowledge of Brahman within ourselves. That is Nachiketas, right? So when we chant Om has a lot of significance, and Om is there in many of our Upanishads. In Mandukya Upanishad also, it is explained what Om means. 3 states of consciousness, 4 states of consciousness, all of that is there in Mandukya Upanishad. So Om is something which is embedded in our culture. And as Lord of Death explains, Om is the bridge between the normal state of consciousness, which we are all aware of. We want Ferrari, we want that, we want this, we want that nice pretty girl, I want to marry that pretty girl. Okay, girls also, I want to marry that nice handsome boy. Okay, so all of that, right? So all of that are material things, and that is never going to give you happiness. It will give you temporary happiness, but never the true happiness. The true happiness comes from within us and by the understanding of Brahman. Okay. So this is the story of Nachiketas. Any questions?